Welcome back to the shop, gang. You can see here donkeys indoors, and that is because I had my first issues with it. This thing's been rock solid since I built it. Haven't had really any mechanical issues like engine wise or anything until, I don't know, about a week ago. We've been having cold and thaw and freezing rain, and I had this thing fired up, running in the driveway, and I quit. I could not get it to fire back up. So I figure I better get it indoors, thaw it out, and see what's going on. First I thought it was fuel issue. I just filled it up and thought maybe I got some bad fuel with some water in it. But I drained a bunch off and I let it settle in a mason jar, and there was not a speck of water in it. So I ruled out that. I did find when I pulled the spark plug out, I thought this thing was running lean because I've redone the intake and the exhaust and everything. I've never rejetted, but you can see that's pretty nasty carboned up. So that was one issue. Another issue I found was the big truck battery that I had put in here to help with the winch duties. That battery right there has got a dead cell in it. It would charge right up and say 13.4 or 13.5 volts, and I thought bonus, but the minute you put any kind of load on it, you can watch the voltage drop on the voltage meter. So that was no good. I think that contributed to it. It was drawing the battery, the power supply down, and the little charging circuits in these motors just wasn't able to keep up. So I think that contributed to the fouling. I have had it fired up on a bit of quick start just to make sure everything was good. I checked valve clearances. I've gone through it top to bottom, oil change, everything looks good. So I'm hoping we're back in business here. I do have to change out the battery, but while it is out, I'm hoping to correct one other problem that I've been having. In this transmission with my big tall shifter and everything on it, first gear and second gear don't like to stay in gear. So first gear, that's easy. Broom holder, boom, taken care of. That's locked in there solid. But second gear kind of floats in between first and reverse on the other end of this part of the shift gate. So getting it to stay in second has been my Achilles heel with this machine right from the start. So I got to come up with something to cure that. And I figure while the battery and everything is out of it, would be a good time. My only problem is I've got a vague plan in my head, but I haven't tried to implement it at all to see if it'll work. But I'm hoping to put like a spring-loaded T-handle like the old B&M shifters or something, and have it with a pin into a hole there that'll hold it in second gear. Something that I can release quick without having to reach down into the tunnel or anything. When you're plowing, you're going forward to reverse a lot, and in the bush too sometimes if you're in close quarters. So being able to go from forward to reverse quick and easy is part of my want list. But anyway, let's see what we can get up to and see if we can't cure that issue, because second gear really is the ultimate gear in this tractor. With the way I got it pulleyed and running, it's the go-to gear, and I haven't been able to go to it, so we got to fix that. Anyway, stick around. Well, good morning, gang. It's the next day out here, enjoying my coffee, and just looking at what we accomplished here yesterday with this shifter. A few wobbly pops and some good tunes on the jukebox, and this is what we got. Spring loaded, locks into place. It's a little crude, but I think it's going to work. It's just basically a piece of round stock, a few washers, spring. The only thing I can see right now is the big top washer here, the handle. I'm going to trim it down a bit. It's a little large, but makes it easy to grab this thing from any angle. I won't have to look and be fumbling, so I think that's going to work. So other than cleaning it up a bit, splashing it with some paint, I think we're going to go with that for now. And until I can get it outside and romp on it a bit and see how it does, I'm going to call it good. We'll stick around and we'll see what else we can get into. So for those of you that aren't familiar with these Peerless 2300 series trans, this one in particular is a 2317. The shift pattern on these is a little weird, and the whole reason for needing this second gear lock is if you're sitting on the seat of the tractor, there's your shift pattern, and you can see that second gear is squeezed kind of awkwardly between first and neutral. And with my shifter being so tall, I only have to move the top of the shifter a tiny bit to get a big motion down below. So, and being heavier, it makes it want to rock back and forth when you're bouncing along the trail. Makes it real easy for it to kick out of that second gear, and it's always frustrated me because second would be like the perfect trail gear in this machine. So hopefully this is going to solve it and answer any of your questions about the weird shifting. But there you have it. Anyway, let's get back to it. Well, welcome back, gang. It's been a couple days since I started making this video, so I don't exactly remember where we left off, but I'll let you in on the finished product here for our shifter and second gear lock. Instead of the T-handle, I went with a big washer and just whittled it down a bit, but this makes it so I can grab this from any position, any angle. There, we just got a slot for where second gear needs to lock in. This is spring loaded, of course, so it's easy to lock into place, and I think that's going to look after what we need it to do. The only thing left to be to test that out, which will be coming up here real quick, but we got a couple other things to look after, so let's go check it out. Well, here's a proctology shot from Donkey, looking straight up the tailpipe. But I don't know what I was thinking when I put this in. I thought it was pretty funny, screaming mouth, but I do think it was causing some restriction. And if we look here, it's definitely getting hot. That whole length of pipe, big long length of pipe, is all good. Not rusty, not until you get there. So obviously that's creating too much back pressure and excess heat. So I'm going to correct that now and just cut the end off. Leave that an open pipe. That should let things breathe a lot better. I figure by the time the mouth and the two eyes are in there, it's got to be close to the diameter of what's on the output from the motor anyway, but we're going to let her eat. You can also see under here, besides all the mud from that killer mud hole this thing was in, there's a shot of the axle stubs from the 2317 Peerless. That's all solid cast iron. I don't think I'll ever break this. It might wear out internally, but I don't think you're gonna break it. There's my 6-inch input pulley. I got an 8-inch on the motor, 6-inch on the trans, It's good for about 20 mile an hour top speed, but on the trails, that's just too fast anyway. So we hardly ever run in top gear on the trail. The terrain just won't allow it. But there's a little shot from underneath, so I'm going to get to cutting and open up the breathing on this beast. Stick around. Well, with that out of the way, geez, you can near see what Donkey had for breakfast. Anyway, that should open up the breathing for sure. Sorry, Mr. Screamy Face, but you gotta go. Hey gang, I got Donkey out of the shop and turned around. I got the plow put back on it here. We're going to see what we can do with this icy mess here. But yeah, let's see if it likes to stay in second gear at all now. Stick around, we'll see how it goes. That seems to work so far. Hopefully it stays playing nice for us. Anyway, I think I need a loader bucket for this schluck today, but I'm going to carry on and keep scraping, and I'll send you guys on your way for the day. Thanks for coming by and checking it out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and until the next time, take care of yourself.